Hi guys, today I'm going to be reviewing the Fishman Island arc in One Piece. So I've finished the Fishman Island arc recently, so I just wanted to make a separate video just reviewing this arc. I'm going to be making separate videos now of me reviewing the arc, so whenever I finish an arc in One Piece I'll be reviewing it in a separate video, just so that I can put it on YouTube and yeah, you can like get a more thorough review on what my overall thoughts are on that. I'll try not to make this long. Before I start, I'm actually going to be reading a script. I actually made a script so that I know exactly what I need to say, as opposed to pausing a lot or trying to think of what I need to say and trying to recall moments in the arc. So that's why I made a script. Yeah. Also, when it comes to reviews, I'm not like the analytical, intellectual type, so I apologize if that's what you like, because I'm not really like, I don't look too deep into like episodes and stuff, so I apologize on that. But I do have like a lot to say regarding this arc. So without any further ado, let's start. So firstly, I'm just going to quickly summarize what Fishman Island was about. So the Stuart Price reunite after a 2-year separation period in Sabaody and head off to Fishman Island to meet Jinbei. That was the initial plan. However, when they're on Fishman Island, they find out that the fishmen do not take a huge liking towards humans, excluding a few fishmen like Kami, Hachi, etc., and find out that Jinbei went to the sea forest. In fact, the conflict between the fishmen and humans is so heavy that Hody teams up with Deacon to kill the royal family and create a new Fishman Island where the fishmen are completely separated from the humans, and they want to overthrow the government. Luffy, however, protects Fisherman Island at all costs against Hody and his whole gang, whilst the Stuart pirates fight the new Fishman pirates, who are Hody's allies. In the end, Luffy defeats Hody in battle and saves Fishman Island. Okay, so my thoughts about this arc is that it's a good arc. I enjoyed it overall, and it does have a well-written story, especially when they were talking about Queen Otohime and Fisher Tiger and revealing their backstories. That really like touched me, and it was so heartbreaking seeing what happened to Otohime and Fisher Tiger, especially Fisher Tiger's backstory. That was just gut-wrenching. That really broke me. But those two backstories were so well written. So I'm really impressed that Oda tied in like our own real life history with this arc. Like, I really felt this arc was like the most relatable to like the real world, in a sense, in a way, because of the conflict between the fishmen and the humans. So like, you know, the racism that was going on between the fishmen and the humans. However, Marineford is still my favorite arc in One Piece, and I still very much prefer Marineford over this one. I really like Water 7 / Ennis Lobby as an arc. I consider them as one big arc, really, because it was following one big plot, and I really like Sabaody as well. So I don't know where I'd place Fishman Island. It's quite difficult, but the thing with Fishman Island is that for me personally it just got better and better. So the beginning was my least favorite part of Fishman Island. It wasn't bad, but it was just not that interesting. It was kind of slow, personally. The reason why it was slow, I mean, to be honest, I expect the beginnings of each arc to be kind of slow, and it usually is quite a pattern with these arcs, because for example the beginning of Thriller Bark, the beginning of Skypiea, those two arcs, those beginnings of those two arcs didn't interest me much, and then the plot finally picked up and it got more more interesting and more intense. It's the same thing with Fishman Island. Like the beginning was not as interesting as, let's say, the ending or the middle part. The middle part was like brilliant, and the ending when Luffy finally defeats Hody. Okay, so with the beginning, so there were these fake Straw Hat Pirates that were impersonating the real Straw Hat Pirates, and I thought that was really funny. And then like Luffy trying his best to like keep a low profile, because you know after Marineford, like he's like a very world-renowned criminal now. So he tried to keep a low profile, but he couldn't. And just seeing him using haki, like actually knowing at least basic haki now, like that was just incredible. And then seeing the Straw Hat Pirate reunions, that was really nice to see. How everyone looks different, and like yeah, just seeing their reunions. Despite it being funny, like with the fake Straw Hat Pirates impersonating the real Straw Hat Pirates, it did feel random, and it was just, it felt really like comedic and not all that, but like it was funny though that when like Luffy, the real Luffy, was using Conqueror Saki, and we get to see just how much of an improvement Luffy has had with his training. So that was really nice to see. In regards to the post time skip designs, I'm gonna be honest, so I don't like everyone's post time skip designs. I do think that the monster trio definitely look better than in the pre-time skip, and I think Usopp looks better. Chopper, same. I like both Chopper's pre-time skip and post-time skip looks. As for the others, like when I looked at Frankie, I was just like, no, just no. What did you do to Frankie? Where's his hairstyle? The thing is that he just looks so unbalanced now because of his body proportions being so unbalanced, with these huge shoulders with these really skinny legs. Like it just looked like, how do you not fall down? And like I just feel like asking him that, like, how do you not fall down with these big shoulder things? Like it just, oh, he just looks so strange now. But I do understand that, like, Frankie would go over the top with his cyborg skills, because he did get Dr. Vegapunk's research notes. So, I mean, it is what it is. Personally, Nami and Robin, they just look like Barbie dolls to me. Personally, I prefer their pre-time skip looks because they look more realistic body-wise. Just to each their own. They're still pretty. I'm not gonna lie. I like Nami's long, wavy hair now, and Robin still looks cool. But I very much prefer Robin's and Nami's fashion senses before the time skip. So yeah. I'm just gonna stop there because I don't want to talk about the fan service. But anyway, so also regarding Straw Hat Pirates, this is just a personal thing. I know you guys, most of you guys don't ship it, but whatever, I'm gonna talk about it anyway because there were a lot of canon moments, man. I love the Throwbin moments. That was just a real treat to actually see, like, Robin and Frankie actually had like a proper scene where they were reuniting with each other, man. That was just cool, just like seeing, because Robin, like, she was going to see the Thousand Sunny ship in Sabaody, and Frankie was there, and then Frankie was like, isn't that our beautiful archaeologist Robin? Oh my days. And then Robin's face, oh my god, she was like, she was so like shocked, like like she just had no expression. But like then again, like she knew that Frankie would go over the top, and then she was like smiling at him. Like it was just Frankie and Robin. I love their chemistry in general. They just work so well together, and I don't care what anyone says. I know that Frankie is a cyborg, and you guys don't like, most of you guys don't like the idea of a cyborg, an unattractive cyborg with a beautiful woman, but they just have amazing chemistry. Like, Frankie, man, he saved Robin's life so many damn times. Like, I could make a whole video just talking about Robin. There's just so many moments to talk about. And like when they were like working together in Thriller Bog and like in Water 7 as well. And I feel like they're just so overlooked and I just feel like they just work so well together. Yes. So regarding the villains of this arc, I don't like any of them. I do not like the villains of this arc. So, Hody is the main villain of Fishman Island, and I don't like him. I prefer my villains to be more morally grey, and what I mean by that is someone with more of a motive as to why they believe in what they believe and why they want to kill certain people if they do. So with Hody, like, he really hates the humans, and like, even though the whole like storyline, like in the whole history of like there being the fishmen and the humans and them having that conflict, you know, but with Hody, like, he barely had a reason to actually hate the humans, and that's what I didn't understand. And then even Fukaboshi had to like ask him like, why do you hate the humans so much? Why do you want to destroy Fishman Island? And then he's like, nothing. Like, I have no reason whatsoever. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like, you're just that one-dimensional. Like, no offense, like, I like this arc overall, but this villain, I just really like. He's my least favorite villain out of all the villains so far in One Piece. Not just because of this, but because he was actually really stupid as well. He was a very stupid villain. The reason why I say he's a stupid villain is because he overused the energy steroid pills just so that he could get really powerful. But the thing is that those pills had side effects. So he grew really old. It's not just him, it's the new Fishman pirates as well, Hody's allies, who also took the energy steroid pills. And I swear, all of them are so stupid and so ruthless, so heartless. Like, the way they were treating those human slaves, like, it sickened me. It really sickened me. And they had, like, barely a reason to, like, hate the humans. Like, I know that there were, like, a lot of human pirates that came to Fisherman Island to kidnap mermaids and stuff, but the fact that it didn't happen personally to Hody, I was just like, you don't even have like a personal hate though, but you have the personal hate for, like, you just basically hate them mindlessly. It's just like, I don't, it's just, I was like making comparisons with Hody and Hitler basically, because Hitler really wanted the Jews all exterminated. So with Hody, like, there were a lot of historical references that I could make with this arc, especially. Like, I'm really, like, I'm quite impressed that Oda was able to utilize our own real life history and use, like, the conflicts, like, the racist conflicts that went on, and utilize that with this arc. So yeah, Hody's one of my least favorite villains. Another one that I absolutely hate is Deacon. Between Hody and Deacon, Deacon was the most annoying piece of shit. I swear to God, that guy was an absolute pedo. I don't care, like, you guys, I know you guys were like, oh, he doesn't like Shirahoshi in a sexual way, but still, it was so disturbing seeing him constantly trying to harass Shirahoshi, and I just felt so bad for Shirahoshi. And she didn't, no one deserves that kind of treatment. Like, for 10 years straight, you're going to harass this girl just because she has that power that you're looking for. Like, I mean, obviously villains are going to be looking for the ultimate power, and that's what Hody was afraid of, that Shirahoshi was going to um, use her power to summon the Sea Kings against him. So that's why he wanted Shirahoshi to get killed as quickly as possible. But obviously Luffy was always going to protect Shirahoshi. So yeah, Deacon was just an absolute bitch. I hate him. I hate him. And Hody, they were just awful. I don't like them as villains. He was so creepy, like how he was like, I'm gonna marry you, Shirahoshi. We're gonna get married, and it was, oh man, it was just sick. It was so sick, you know, gross, man. And she was like a little kid, and he's like, I'm going to marry you. And, oh, pedo, fucking pedo. Anyway, let's talk about in my opinion, my favorite moments. So I said a bit before of how I really liked the Fisher Tiger and Otime backstories. So those were my favorite moments. I have another favorite moment as well where Luffy used the Red Hawk, his fight against Hody basically. That was another favourite moment. I'm just going to talk about Fisher Tiger and Otime's backstories. I really liked how this arc was similar to what has happened in the past, in real life. So, you know, like the whole conflict between the humans and the fishermen was reminiscent of, in my opinion, of how there was conflict between the white and black people before the 1960s. So I just thought it was well written, those two backstories, and it was really heartbreaking, as I said before. So Queen Otime advocated for years for the fishermen to accept the humans, and that they should all live peacefully with each other, like kind of like Martin Luther King Jr.'s kind of speech. And Fisher Tiger also wanted better treatment for the fishermen, but unlike Queen Otime, who was very in the peace mindset, Fisher Tiger went against the world government and actually freed the slaves in Marijoa. So we tragically found out in the end when he got shot by the Marines that when he was about to die, he was also a slave in Marijoa, and yet he still didn't hate the humans so much, even though he faced absolute abuse from the humans, well, the world nobles, celestial scumbags. So I was so like, God, man. I think I was crying in that reaction. I must have cried because that was just so sad, seeing him die and sun pirates all around him, and they really respected him as the captain because he was an amazing leader. He was so peaceful. He wasn't as peaceful as Otime in the sense that he was a pacifist, but he was like, you know, like he really wanted, he would choose peace over war basically. I was actually surprised to see that Koala was connected to all of this, because I do know that Koala is shown later on. I did see pics already of adult Koala, and damn, she looks cute. So like seeing, like, it was so cute and adorable seeing the friendship, the relationship between Fisher Tiger and Koala, because Koala, she was a slave in Marijoa, and so Fisher Tiger unintentionally saved Koala because Koala actually got on his ship, and she was like proper begging them to not kill her, because she faced so much abuse from the celestial scumbags. So like, so she's always been a slave, and she always had that mentality that she's worthless. But Fisher Tiger and the Sun Pirates, they were like, no, you don't have to like clean our ship or like do any chores for us. You're not a slave to us. You can just chill. So I felt really bad for Kid Koala. Oh man. And she was proper set up as well. Like, because Fisher Tiger basically took Koala to her home. It was just really sad that Koala's parent and the villagers in her village had to give Fisher Tiger to the Marines, because the Marines were like, you gotta use Koala's bait here. So when Fisher Tiger was taking Koala home, that's when the Marines were there already, so they got to shoot Fisher Tiger, and it was just, oh man, I was so mad at those villagers. Like, I understood that you want to protect your child, but like, oh man, like, Fisher Tiger did you guys a favor. Like, he actually returned your child, you know, from such torture, such abuse from the celestial scumbags, and you're gonna like work, basically abide by the celestial scumbags. It's out of fear, I know that, it's out of fear. They don't want to get in trouble themselves, but I felt so bad for Fisher Tiger that he got shot down. He got assassinated by evil people for his own peaceful beliefs. Same with Queen Otohime. Then the whole revelation that Hody was actually the one that shot Queen Otohime. To be honest, I should have saw that coming. For some reason, I thought it was a celestial scumbag that did that. Because, you know, they're absolute dickheads. So yeah, it's really sad that these two peaceful people died at the hands of evil people. But nonetheless, at least Queen Otohime's vision of a peaceful world in Fishman Island, where the humans and fishmen can actually live together and be peaceful with each other, even though it took so many years, it took literally a decade, at least Luffy finally realized this vision. So I'm just really happy, like, at the end Luffy did actually save Fishman Island from Hody and his gang, from like turning it into like a really horrible place where humans weren't allowed to associate themselves with fishmen. Another fucked up thing was the fact that they were making the fishmen step on Queen Otohime's picture. Oh man, that was so scummy. That was, oh man, my blood was boiling. I was just, that was just huge disrespect. Like, not just because Otohime was the queen of that island, but because like it just feels wrong to like step on a person's picture just because they had extremely different ideals to you. That was so fucked. Anyway, let's talk about the ending of the arc. So I really liked how Luffy beat the shit out of Hody. That was so satisfying to see. But it's not just that, but he actually reminisced Ace's Five Fist move and made his own move called the Red Hawk Fist move, which was based on Ace's Five Fist move. So to see the Red Hawk move being used against Hody, and also Luffy's expertise in basic haki, at least, like he using armament haki and the other hakis against Hody, and like, I mean, throughout this arc, like, it's just amazing, like, seeing the improvement Luffy has gone through with his moves. Like, he's a lot better now than he was in the pre-time skate, because he does know haki now and he knows all three. So I'm really impressed with Luffy that with just 2 years of training he managed to learn at least the basic level of all three hakis. Like, that is amazing. That is amazing. I'm just a little bit disappointed that we didn't see Zoro. I don't think Zoro used haki in this arc, and if he did, then it's probably just observation haki, but I don't see him, he didn't use Conqueror's haki or armament haki, not that I can remember. So I really want to see Zoro using haki in the next arc. We did see Sanji use Tekai, not Tekai, the other one, Genpo. Was it called Genpo? You know, the one where he flies up in the air. That was really cool. That he's using some Rokushiki based techniques. So yeah, that was really cool. And just in general, Straw Hat Pirates are a lot better now with their abilities, a lot more powerful. still, like, they all need to improve, and they're only going to get better. It was really impressive. I liked Robin's like giant hands and giant feet. Like, it was kind of weird, but like it was just really cool. I love Robin's ability. So yeah, I really liked how this arc ended, and Jinbei was an amazing character. You guys know how much I love Jinbei. He's just amazing. Like, he was so supportive of Luffy, and like he just, and then like Luffy asking Jinbei to be a straw hat pirate. That was amazing. I always wanted Jinbei to be a straw hat pirate, and I'm glad Jinbei, I mean, he gave a yes and no answer. He said that he'll eventually become a Stuart pirate, but he'll become a Stuart pirate after he has a few things to deal with. I don't know. I don't think it was totally clear on what the reason was. I can't quite remember what his reason was for why he couldn't become a Stuart pirate straight away, but I am glad that he didn't completely refuse it. So it's a shame that he can't join now. I would have really liked to see more Jinbei now, but till the next time at least. Also, when it comes to the ending of the arc, the whole Poneglyph side story came up, and I believe the last time it was properly mentioned was in the Wood 7 arc, when Lucci and the CP9 were after Frankie, who had the Pluton blueprint. There wasn't that much of a reference to like ancient weapons though, but like back then Frankie did have the blueprint to where Pluton was, and back in Alabasta Crocodile was after Pluton as well. But there was a mention that there's Poseidon and Uranus ancient weapons as well. That's what you guys told me, but I can't remember. Like, the fact that I can't remember, it was just I just felt like this whole side story is a little bit sparse, because like when I was reacting to Robin talking to Neptune about who Joy Boy was, because like a couple of scenes before, Robin read a poneglyph in Fishman Island, and it was a message from Joy Boy who is apologizing to someone, but she couldn't figure out who he was apologizing to, so she wanted to confront Neptune about this. So Neptune said that Joy Boy was someone from the surface who was apologizing to the mermaid princess at the time, and he's connected to Noah, so he really wanted Noah to be protected, and the mermaid princess is the one that can summon the Sea Kings, and is also the ancient weapon Poseidon. That's what Robin managed to figure out, that the mermaid princess is Poseidon. So if that's the case, then that means Shirahoshi is Poseidon, is one of the ancient weapons called Poseidon. So that was a huge shock, a huge revelation. Like, not just because Shirahoshi can actually do that ability of summoning the Sea Kings, but also another shocking thing is that it's actually one of the ancient weapons in the world. There are 3 ancient weapons: Pluton, Poseidon, and Uranus. So this whole side story, the reason why I'm saying it's a bit sparse is because when I was reacting to it, I was trying so hard to recall any previous mentions of the poneglyphs and the ancient weapons, and the only ancient weapon that I could like recall was Pluton being mentioned, and I remembered that Crocodile was going after Pluton, like he wanted Robin to decipher the poneglyphs in Alabasta, but oh man, I don't know why Ward 7's mentions were like vague to me, but like there was no mention in Thriller Bark, Sabaody, and Marineford as far as I know, so it feels a bit sparse. Like, if you're gonna, I just wish that this whole poneglyph side story gets more regular mentions, that way we don't forget the details previously. But I guess this is kind of my fault, because I'm reacting this at a slow pace. I'm reacting to One Piece in my own pace, as opposed to binge watching One Piece. So if I was to binge watch, I might be able to recall previous mentions of it more easily, but like I shouldn't really have to. I feel like they should have at least included a few recaps, like just like really brief recaps, just so that it kind of felt like, why is this being brought up right at the end of the arc? I don't know, like it feels kind of misplaced. Um, I don't get me wrong, I really like the storyline of the whole poneglyphs, and I like the idea that Robin is trying to like be this detective and like trying to decipher these poneglyphs. It's really fascinating, but to be honest, I don't know where this is going. Apart from that, some of the villains are after the ancient weapons, so the sooner that Robin can figure this out and where all of the ancient weapons are, so far she knows that Poseidon is in Fishman Island, and she found out from Skypiea that one of the ancient weapons is in Fishman Island, which is why she theorized that it must be Shirahoshi then. So she figured out one, but she needs to figure out the other two. Unfortunately, Frankie burned the blueprints to where Pluton is. I don't know. Like, I just wish this story, this subplot, can be mentioned again in the next arc that I'm going to react to, and then mentioned again, so that it feels it's weaved in better, if you get what I mean, and it flows more easily. I do feel that like future villains and villains in the new world are going to be after the ancient weapons, because you know villains in general want power. So yeah, it's really interesting though. I'm kind of worried about Luffy now, because at the end of this arc, when Luffy saved Fishman Island, we got to see Big Mom, and I was surprised. I didn't know Big Mom was going to be shown this early on, because I do know she's like a future villain in One Piece, and so I have actually seen like a picture of what she looks like, but I don't know like anything else apart from her being a Yonko. So when she was revealed, she was asking for a lot of candy from Fishman Island, and Luffy was just like, "Bitch, I ate all that candy." Oh my days, the amount of nerve, like, jeez, man, she's a Yonko, and like, he just he's so reckless, and not just that, but like he's just so bold. He was like telling Big Mom on the Denden Mushi that he's going to make Fishman Island his turf, so that they don't have to like give so much candy to her. Oh my days, man. It's like he's so brave, but that braveness that he has is just going to cost him, because these are Yonkos. They are going to be extremely powerful. So I'm just worried that, because Luffy just keeps making more and more enemies as the arcs go on, and it's just like, you're gonna have to train so much harder now, because how the hell are you going to defeat Big Mom? Because Big Mom is waiting for you in the new world. She said so herself. So, yeah, it's not just her, it's also Blackbeard that Luffy needs to be like wary of, because at the moment the Blackbeard pirates are like doing a lot of bad stuff in the new world. So it's two Yonkos. I don't know anything about Kaido. They have mentioned Kaido, but I don't know anything about Kaido. So I don't know if he's a good guy or a bad guy. Like, the only Yonko that Luffy is like allied with is Shanks. Like, Shanks is the only one that is cool with Luffy. So, you know, yes, that's difficult, man. You're it's not just that, but you're endangering the Straw Pirates' lives, and like obviously Luffy cares about them, but like if you stand up to a Yonko, then oh man. I do understand though, because Luffy does want to save Fishman Island, so I am like on Luffy's side, obviously. But yeah, there's just going to be so much rivalry in the new world. Overall, so I'm just going to finish at this point. I'm sorry that this was such a long video. So I really did enjoy this arc. I did find it slow at the beginning, and it wasn't, I'm going to be honest, I do prefer Water 7, Sabaody, definitely Marineford over this arc. But it was still a pretty solid arc, especially with the backstories of Otime and Fisher Tiger's backstories, and the whole like conflict, racist conflict between the fishmen and humans. That was very interesting to me. Hody, unfortunately, the villains in this arc are really like badly written in my opinion. They were just so stupid and so heartless. Like they had a huge lack of motive. So I don't like Hody. I don't like Van the Deacon. Um, so Marineford at this point, Marineford is still my favorite arc. But I definitely recommend a look into Fishman Island because there were a lot of epic moments in Fishman Island. So I do recommend it, and I really did like the side characters, um, like Jinbei, Hachi, Kami, like they all just really likable characters, and I really like the comedy in this arc as well. So yeah, I'm sorry if this wasn't analytical enough or intellectual enough, but yeah, that's my overall thoughts. Let me know what your thoughts are on Fishman Island arc, and stay tuned for more.